Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pastor Jay North here once again with the OUC Addict, a Teen's Time in Church Sabbath School Youth Discussion Starter video of the week. This week, we are diving into a super relevant issue. We've been seeing it play out specifically over the last year. It's just kind of been everywhere. And then even in the last few weeks where we saw the deaths of 8 Asian individuals in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we're talking about prejudice. It's something that you and I deal with on a day in and day out basis, but it's also something that Jesus dealt with as well. And Pastor Jeremy is going to introduce our lesson to us. So Pastor Jeremy, take it away.
About 30 years ago, in response to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., an American teacher developed a simple classroom exercise to illustrate the power of prejudice to her students. She told the children that having blue eyes meant they were more intelligent and gave greater privileges to the blue-eyed children. Very quickly, she observed that the blue-eyed children were bullying and oppressing the brown-eyed children, while those with brown eyes demonstrated fear and low self-esteem, even though she conducted the exercise for only one day. The next day, Miss Elliott returned to her class and told the children that what she had told them the previous day was untrue. It was actually brown-eyed children who were more intelligent and would have more privileges. The same experience happened in reverse. Now the brown-eyed children began to oppress the others. The experience opened students' eyes, both blue and brown, to the power of prejudice and the divisions we create between people. Just like the Jews and Samaritans in Jesus' day, we tend to divide people up on the basis of race, language, culture, religion, and many other barriers. We decide who's in and who's out, who's cool and who's not. Jesus saw past all of those barriers, and he chooses his followers from every race, culture, and background, and he asks us to look past those barriers too. In our lesson today, we are going to study a story found in John chapter 4, where Jesus gives us a living example of what it means to look past all the barriers that divide and separate us and tell others about the love of God. As you dive into the lesson today, I pray that you will understand why a personal experience with Jesus is vitally important as a member of God's church, and how this can help us look past all the barriers that may separate us. I pray that you will desire your own experience with Jesus and experience his grace as you relate to others. And lastly, I pray that you would choose to respond to this lesson by reaching across a barrier in your life and tell someone what Jesus has done for them. We draw so many lines to exclude and divide people. Jesus stepped over those lines. He was interested in including people, not excluding them. One line that people in the church sometimes draw is to say that you can't work for the Lord unless you're older, or you've had a certain kind of training, or you've gotten everything in your life in order and you haven't made any mistakes for the last 10 years. But that's not the way Jesus recruited workers for his cause. Anybody who had really gotten to know him was qualified to tell others what Jesus had done for them. And it's still the same today. If you know Jesus, if he's touched your life in any way, then you have all the qualifications you need to share him with others. You don't need to be able to preach or give Bible studies, though those are wonderful gifts if you do have them. All you need is the willingness to share what Jesus has done in your life and be willing to invite people to experience this Jesus with you.
Hey, Pastor Jeremy, man, thank you so much. I love the illustration at the beginning where they, told the kids about blue eyes versus brown eyes, and then brown eyes versus blue eyes. And you can see how sin kind of rears its ugly head in our lives and makes us treat people differently based on skin color, based on education, based on where we are in terms of money, and based on specifically religious differences. And so we just really need to be prayerful. We got to ask God to help us treat others the way that Jesus treated the Samaritan woman on that day. that's our time today. There are some discussion questions at the end of this video, so don't check out just yet. Check out those questions, man, and ask those questions to your friends, to your parents. If your parents watching this, ask your children those questions just to get their insight and maybe even dive deeper into what God is trying to teach us through this lesson. All right. Have a great Sabbath day. Once again, I'm Pastor Jay North here at the Oakwood University Church. Peace.